Okay, so Vedic thinking is great because it looks at our actual identity as distinct and unique from our conditioning. So you're conditioned by where you grow up, what kind of, like maybe your race, maybe your gender, maybe your economic status or social status, all of these things that are actually some kind of role being imposed on you from outside. But then in the Vedic model, you as an individual is distinct and transcendental, actually beyond that, right? And that's great because that means you don't have to be defined by these externals. There's something beyond that. And that is a lot of the problems people have, is because they identify with all these labels, and it can even be like a style of clothing or their job or their interest. I'm super into horseback riding or whatever. That you try to create into like an identity, and then above that you have this enormous pressure from society of just being a consumer, where the Vedic model is actually the opposite. You remove all of these labels and think of yourself as distinct from that, and then you make your identity into someone, a force of good in the world, right? Someone who serves a larger purpose than just eating, sleeping, having sex, and defending yourself, right? So this is where actual fulfillment comes in. So you have to first deprogram yourself from all of these labels that have more or less arbitrarily been put on you, and then reprogram yourself into someone who doesn't actually worry about that. And that's entirely possible, right? And what's going to happen then is you're going to see more and more a feeling of integration with reality, right? Because rather than trying to extract and exploit value from the world, you're trying to add value to the world. Funny enough, the world has a tendency to react a lot better to that, and your relationships are going to improve. Your sense of fulfillment will improve, so you will have less tendency towards addiction. And I don't just mean substance abuse, but addiction to shopping, addiction to like certain social interactions, sex addiction. Like the Western world seems completely preoccupied about sex all the time, right? So all of that will just naturally go down, and the amount of mental resources you will have at your disposal is going to be huge. Like it's a tremendous difference it makes. And that's when this experience of actual love will start flowing naturally. Like it'll be a natural reciprocal relationship with reality, with other people, and with yourself, right? So that's what the Vedic model does. It takes us momentarily outside of our conditioning and allows us to see the relationship we have with our surroundings, other people, and ultimately ourselves. That brings peace.